Galactic day to everyone. My name is Universe, and I am your source for today's video. So in this video, we're going to be talking about the Hunger Games of Wise Kings. And this is the King Solomon effect. And this is just part one, because we got a lot of information that we're going to be going into. We're going to be breaking down the science, the alchemy, the history of the Hunger Games of Wise Kings and what it is. And it's going to have its ups and it's going to have its downs. So this is part one, and this is the King Solomon effect. So starting off, we're going to start off with isolation. This will help you make decisions, without inside influences. You have to practice isolation because you never know who might be trying to move against you, against your best interest. That includes everybody. So that's rule number one when it comes to the Hunger Games of Wise Kings. And when I say the Hunger Games, I'm speaking of building discipline, restricting yourself from the everyday, I guess you could say, fruits of your labors, or, the so-called finer things in life. Sometimes you have to come back down off your high horse. You have to isolate yourself from everyone and start over. And putting yourself in isolation where it's quiet, you don't have any outside influences. So you don't have any of your friends saying like, yeah, man, you've been doing good, man, you been promoted. You making 15, 20,000 more a year. Man, you need to get rid of that old car. You need to graduate, get that new Mustang that you always want, or that new Hellcat, or, that new truck, whatever, you might prefer. It don't even have to be a car. It could be a nice watch. It could be a big house that you probably really don't even need, but you want, just anything basically, so, and if you're not careful, your circle will be a part of your downfall. That's why you have to practice isolation. You have to seclude yourself from everyone every now and again, just to sit in silence, sit in peace, go over everything that you have done in the past 3 to 6 months and see what you need to be doing or what you need to be cutting back on. Because it's hard for you to make your decisions for yourself if everybody else telling you what you should, what you could be doing. So that's going to help you, get grounded for the most part. Like I said, this is the Hunger Games of Wise Kings. This is what's going to make you wise, because now, since you cutting back on things that you like to do or you like to overindulge in, it's going to restart you back at point one as far as the process. It's going to slow you down. It's going to refocus, you on the goal at hand. So after you start, practicing isolation and, you get that part down pat, now we're going to get into the King Solomon effect. So, the King Solomon effect, AKA letting your physical realm take over your purpose in life, which is women, and leading, with your staff. We're going to say your staff and not your crown. All the fellas, you know what I mean when I say your staff, the little head, not the big head. And this is the King Solomon effect. Every man has fallen victim to the King Solomon effect. It doesn't matter if you the average guy, you a mega millionaire, billionaire, or you a six-figure earner. Every man has dealt with a woman that he wish he would have never touched or never met before. For whatever reason, it could be, okay, ex-wife took half your stuff, or child support situation, you paying alimony, or she might have said you did something that you didn't do, or it might have caused you to lose your job because maybe you was in management and you was dealing with one of the new young girls or whatever the case might be, and she didn't have as much as you to lose, and the word got out. So maybe she wanted to put your business on Front Street. So now y'all both, assed out without a job or whatever the case might be. So this is the King Solomon effect, and I'm not gonna get too deep into the King Solomon effect because most of us have heard of this story. King Solomon was a prominent king. They had the King Solomon temple built for him. He had hundreds of wives and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So he overindulged. That was the problem. He didn't participate in the Hunger Games of wise kings. He had all these women, these riches, and he just had the overabundance of everything just because he could do it. And just because you could do something, that don't mean you do it. That's why you have to practice isolation once again. You understand what I'm saying? He probably had some other princes, some other, lords, or some other high knights, other people of royalty telling him, man, you a king, man. Why don't you get her too? You see how she looking at you? Marry her too. Who's going to say something to you? You see what I'm saying? And at the end, it destroyed him. You can even see this in, the everyday entertainers, the athletes, the actors. This is happening to someone all the time. The King Solomon effect. And to be honest, I don't even think you can really even dodge this. This is something that I feel like every man is going to go through, no matter if it's financially, on a big scale, or on a small scale. You understand what I'm saying? It's going to happen, but this is a necessary evil for every man to walk that path. You have to experience the King Solomon effect so you can learn from your past, and that can help you vet out different women that you're dealing with. Now, when we talking about the Hunger Games, because that's what I named the title of this video, The Hunger Games of Wise Kings. Now, what do I mean by the Hunger Games? So the Hunger Games, you look at it like this. The Hunger Games is a tool of balance to keep you focused. This will help you with overindulging in the fruits of your labors. Being lust or, greed, should not be a majority of your reasons for living true. Kings are at the service of others. Let me say that again. Lust and greed should not be the majority of your reasons for living. True kings are at the service of others. So you don't want to get so stuck into the I'm the main character mode. Everything's about me. I'm the center of the universe. I'm the king. I'm the God king. I'm this, I'm the third. Or I'm the queen. Women, they struggle with this as well. It's just not the men. But, since I'm speaking to the kings, I'm specifically, speaking to the kings or whatnot. But this applies to women as well. Anybody that's in a position of high power, you don't want to get stuck in that main character mode, because there's always going to be somebody around you that's ready to knock you off your high horse. Regardless if you treated them bad, treated them like trash, or if you helped them become the person that they are today. Maybe you got very arrogant and, you start turning down people and you just stop, you just start leading with your ego and not your heart, or not what's right. If it's not benefiting you, then you don't see no point in helping no one out. And that happens. So the Hunger Games, you gotta look at it as a tool. Just slow down. Don't overindulge. Because what happens when you get paid and you got rent, you got bills and stuff going on, and you going out, to the movies, you don't went to the mall, you don't went to the ABC store, you don't bought those new shoes that done came out. Now what? Now your bank account is in the negative because you didn't use the tool of the Hunger Games of wise kings. And you're not going to use it at first. This comes with experience. You do not want to be a successful man child, because being a man and a king is two different things. It's levels to it. And there's nothing wrong with being the everyday average man. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Everybody can't be kings. Everybody can be queens. Everybody can be royalty. That's just how life is. It's not going to work out that way. But for the ones who are quote unquote kings, for the ones that are in prominent positions, for the guys that are building up to be in those prominent positions, you have to use the Hunger Games as a tool of balance to keep you focused. So you won't be overindulging in women, drugs, I know some people, man, they smoke so much that they have to smoke just to get a appetite. Or when they wake up in the morning, they got to smoke what you call wake and bake, which to me, it doesn't make any sense, and I guess it don't make any sense to me because, I don't smoke myself. I have more of a natural high. But at the same time, what are the real benefits of smoking and just sitting around being high, getting the munchies? Is it really productive to what you're trying to build? There's extra money that you could be saving or you could be investing in yourself or you could be putting to the side for a business. Like, just think about that for all my smokers out there. Think about how much money you spend on weed. For all my drinkers out there, think about how much money you spend on going to the ABC store every other weekend. For all my travel junkies out there, for people they just gotta travel, road trips and stuff like that. Think about how much money you spend in gas doing road trips, how much money you spend on hotels. For all my quote unquote foodies that they gotta try a different restaurant every other week. Think about all the money that you done spent in the past 6 months, or hell, the past year. Because you overindulging. You have to use the Hunger Games as a tool to keep yourself, because that's what's going to separate the women from the queens and the empress. That's what's going to separate the men from the kings and the emperors. You let everyone else overindulge in their success, or some people, they overindulge and they haven't even reached a certain level of success. They just doing it just because they can. And that's why most people are living paycheck to paycheck. A lot of people want to make over 6 figures, but I forgot what the number is. I think on 10%, 17% of people, something like that, make 6 figures or more in the United States, something like that. Because a lot of people don't practice the Hunger Games. Oh, your favorite artist in town. So, I got to get those concert tickets. Oh, they just dropped these new shoes. I have to get that. I'm just going to call the water company or the light people, the light company, the electric company, be like, hey, look, can I do a bridge payment for such and such time for my next pay period? You understand what I'm saying? Because they not using the Hunger Games as a tool. And you have to be aware of people that do not practice isolation, people that don't practice discipline of the Hunger Games. Because if you don't practice Hunger Games at will, the Hunger Games will starve your ass out. You will eventually die of starvation. You're going to fall on your face. It done happened to me before plenty of times. It happens to everyone. But you got to learn from your mistakes, and you have to learn from others. And that's why I named this part 1 of the Hunger Games of Wise Kings, the King Solomon effect. Because you learning from other people's failures and their success. But you got to take heed to it. You can't just look at everything as just a story or, oh, that happened to them. It never happened to me. That's what they all say until they in that same position or that situation. So, I just wanted to, just get into the science, the Hunger Games of the Wise Kings and how cutting back and pacing yourself on, having different, indulging in different things could help you out in the long run. Because it's all about longevity. It's not about who make it to the top first. It's about who's going to survive those Hunger Games. That's what this shit is about. Who's going to survive the Hunger Games? Who's going to be out here the longest? And it helps build character as well. A lot of people, we so stuck on instant gratification. You got to get that out your head. Get in the mindset of understanding everything is a process. Everything runs a course. Everything takes a little bit of time. Quit thinking that you're supposed to be a God King level type of person in 6 months. It's probably not going to happen. Probably won't happen in a year. It probably won't happen in 2 or 3 years. It takes time because it's quality over quantity. It takes time to build the quality type of life that you want. Now, unless you one of the lucky few, you just hit the jackpot. But in reality, how many, what's the chances, what's the odds of you hitting, the lottery? And still, that doesn't make up for the type of person you are. Having these mental skill sets as the Hunger Games of the Wise Kings. So, for the younger guys my age, guys that's younger, and guys that's a little older than me, pay attention to what your father, your grandfather, your uncles, people went through. See how they handled their Hunger Games. Some of them, got on drugs. They started off with weed. Weed wasn't enough. Let me try this. They didn't practice, the tool of the Hunger Games. Sometimes you got to starve yourself out on a few things that you actually really, really like. Because if it's something that you just gotta have, that's probably something you want to slow down on. You might want to use this tool that I'm breaking down in this video. Because you could wake up one day and see yourself at the point of no return. Especially if it's with the wrong woman. Especially if you got a gambling problem. Your spending problem. You terrible with money. You make a lot of money, but you spend even more. That's not a situation you want to be in, because that's not how true kings carry themselves. They make mistakes and they adjust. They adjust to the mistakes and the failures that they have, and they learn from those lessons. That's the whole point of the Hunger Games of the Wise Kings. You have to adjust to life, adjust to your failures, learn from the lessons and the losses. Hold yourself accountable. Go through that uncomfortable stage, because it's going to be uncomfortable sometimes. Sometimes you might have to go a month and a half without getting a haircut, because you might want to save $250 or whatever the case might be, Sometimes you might have to go a year without going out or buying new shoes, or, and clothes and stuff, because you got to stay focused on a bigger picture. And that is the tool of the Hunger Games. It makes you wise. Now okay, if I get rid of this, I get rid of that, I get rid of this, I could get back to this prominent stance. I could sit back on the throne now. I'm now a fit king. I am King Solomon before his fall. So I just really want y'all fellas, out there to really take heed to what I'm saying. Because if you could learn from someone else's failures, why go through it yourself? Like, why do that? It doesn't make any logical sense. It's about passing the baton and building up the next generation, not sitting back and watching them destroy themselves like the previous generation, or go through the BS that the last generation went through. That's why this tool of the Hunger Games is very, 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 very important. I can't stress this enough. Me using this tool, it has helped me out a lot as well. And then the Hunger Games, it put fire up under you. Because who wants to stay uncomfortable for too long? But it forces you to make those necessary adjustments to become a better person, to become that wise king that you are trying to strive to become. You got to get it out the mud. You got to get in that deep water, swim with the sharks. In the Hunger Games, it's going to get a little ugly. You might have to survive a whole month off $100 worth of groceries, just so you can save up $500 for this month for whatever reason. Maybe you trying to save that $500 up to start your first business. You got $1 million business plan, But you're probably not going to get to that just because you can't save up $500. You got a $150 a habit week. You got a $150 a week habit. And you've been trying to save that damn $500 up for months, even though you got $1 million business plan. But you're not participating in the Hunger Games. You're not putting yourself in the desert to starve for a little bit until the rain comes and all the trees start growing back. All the fruits and the vegetables start coming back. All the animals with that as well. You don't want to sit in the desert alone until the civilization start growing around you. You want to wake up in peace and paradise already, and it don't work like that. You got to build this brick by brick. Literally. This is the Hunger Games. You appreciate it a whole lot more when you go through the Hunger Games. But yeah, so the Hunger Games of the Wise Kings. This is the King Solomon effect. This is part 1. Learn from King Solomon. Be careful with these women. And I'm speaking from experience. I done been in situations that I ain't have no business being in because I dealt with the wrong woman. You be in situations you never seen coming because you dealt with the wrong woman. This is the King Solomon effect. Learn that effect now before you get to King Solomon's level where it could destroy you to the point of no return. Because that's what you don't want. You want to learn from others while you're on the up and coming so you can know what to do, what not to do. Master the art of the Hunger Games right now while you're on the up and coming. While you're on that journey, while you're trying to put out that blueprint. But my name is Universe, and I am your source for today's video. I'm gone. Peace.